Hey friends, I just got back from an amazing trip to Paris and I came back bearing lessons for you. Um, I have a personal story to share and I thought it would be a great thing to share here. Um, so, okay, before my trip to France, I, you know, have heard all these things like, oh, you need to speak the language, and even if you do, you're going to be treated possibly not so great. I don't know if you've heard these things. People could be rude to you, all this stuff. So I did my homework. I've been studying French. I wanted to come knowing the language and trying to speak the language and also some etiquette. So I came with that. But I also, as I teach on these videos, believe that your energy really helps create your reality, right? And how people are attracted to you and how they treat you. So if we can raise our vibration, um, good things happen. Also, I also believe that when you practice being more present and mindful, you are less reactive. So when SH hits the fan, you can pause, take a beat, and then not react like not be so reactive, right? So I have a little story for you. So my husband and I, we had been there about a day, and we came with that intention. We were going to be open-hearted, open-minded, and not buy into any of the fears or insecurities that people might have presented us with. And so, and we were both trying to speak the language. So we were having a great experience so far and made our guards down go even more. And then we went to a restaurant and we were seated and we started trying to, he and I together, we were like, okay, how are we going to say this one sentence in French, and how do we order this specific thing, and how do we ask for this specific thing? And we were really trying to do our homework before the waitress came by. And she came by and started speaking to us really rapidly in French. And we were like deer in headlights going, what did she just say? So luckily, one of the phrases that we had studied was like, I'm so sorry, in French. We studied this in French to say when situations arose like that, we knew to say in French, I'm sorry. We don't speak French very well, but we're trying. And the reaction she gave us was not what we expected. She looked at us like if I were to take it at face value, she looked annoyed, frustrated, agitated, and she literally looked at us and walked away. She actually turned around and walked away from us. And we were dumbfounded. Now, the ego part of me tried to sneak in and make me insecure, and I could feel it trying to go, see, I told you so. See, it's not good enough. Your French sucks. See, they hate you, or whatever. I could feel that coming. But because I had been practicing my mindfulness and my presence and being open-hearted, my guard wasn't up yet. So I was able to take a breath, and my husband was too. He was across the table. We were both shocked, I will be honest, but we didn't react. Now, the old version of us probably would have got up and left, because we would have been either one of two things. I would have been oh my gosh, we don't belong here. She hates us. we gotta go. And Hugh probably would have been like, how rude, I'm not staying, you know, that either one of those reactions. But we just sat there like both just calm. And I believe this next part happened because of our energy, because people can sense when you have an open heart and when you're being empathetic. So what happened next was she comes back, and she tries to speak English, and she admits to us she's sorry. She still sounded annoyed, but I will say what she said was, I'm sorry, I don't speak English well. And we were like, we were again trying to speak French to her, and we were like, oh my gosh, please, like, we're in your country, like, we're sorry. We will do our best. Don't even worry about trying, you know, we'll do our best. Don't even worry. And all of a sudden, the three of us were laughing, smiling, and it dawned on me right then and there, we're all just human, and we're all just insecure, and we're all just trying our best. And sometimes, you know, our egos can get the best of us, and sometimes we can be misunderstood. You know, if I would have taken her at face value, I would have thought all these things, which I mentioned a second ago. And I probably would have judged her as being snobby, maybe. It turned out that wasn't even the case. She was so in her head. Her behavior was because she was insecure about her English. And it just made me realize how often we can misunderstand people or be misunderstood. But I also want to bring it back to, we are all human, and we all have the same human emotions no matter where we're from in the world, and no matter what language we speak. And this might sound corny, but it's true. The universal language of all humanity and not humanity, of living things and non-living things even, is energy. It's all energy. And I believe she came back to us able to admit, like, I feel kind of, she admitted she doesn't speak English well, and you could tell she wanted to try it. And it's because our energy, our guards were not up, they were down. We were sitting there with open hearts, and I think she felt like she could say that to us. I could tell she wasn't willing to work with us before that. So that's my lesson. We ended up having such a great lunch there. We had a great time with her, and we all just like giggled through the whole thing. Like every time she would serve us something, the energy was totally different than when it started. And we all just had a great laugh over us trying to speak French and her trying to speak English. It was cute. We didn't want her to speak English. We just were like, no, let us try. And so she was like helping us, and it turned out to be such a cute little situation. But I just want you to realize how that could have turned out. That could have turned out so differently. And I could be sitting here telling you a completely different story about our experience because this waitress came up and then walked away when we tried to speak French. That's not even what happened. And so the moral of the story is, be open-hearted. Show up with an open heart. And I have a couple questions for you. How are you showing up in life? Because that's just what it reaffirmed to me, is like, how can we show up in life? And so some questions you might want to ask yourself is, are you showing up with your guard up? Are you showing up in life expecting the worst case scenario? Or are you showing up expecting possibly a great case scenario? Are you able to see that we are all human and see the common thread between all of us? Or do you show up in life in an energy that's like us against them, you know? What I learned is your energy matters. It pays to be open-hearted. Love over fear, you know, if I would have let that little ego come in and feed into my fears, totally different experience. So I stayed in that love energy and really saw her for her humanity. And I was able to be empathetic for her. It really, she was just insecure. And I was able to release judgment of how she was first behaving. You know, I was able to be in that present moment and just take a beat and not react. And it all turned out great. And that gave her some grace. I gave her grace. She gave us grace. And lastly, humor and smiles go a long way. Being able to laugh at yourself is key. And I would say all of this applies to travel too. And when I say keep your guard down, again, it's not about not being aware of your surroundings. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm saying your guard in terms of expecting the worst out of people or being open and giving them grace. And so I hope this video helps. And I know it's not a typical kind of video I do, but I just wanted to share that story with you and see if you could apply it into your everyday life, or maybe possibly an upcoming trip that you are taking. All right. I hope you're doing great, and thank you for being here. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to this channel for more. And I have some other great videos about confidence and energy and meditation and things like that. So be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Okay, bye.